Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm very sorry for my extended absence. I'm going to try and be much better about actually making a video a month in the future. Today I want to recap a couple of books that I've read, not just in the last month, but actually in the last couple of months while I've had a couple of really big life changes going, distracted with that. The first one that I wanted to talk to you about today is this one by Sarah Wilson. Called First We Make the Beast Beautiful. And you might know Sarah Wilson from I Quit Sugar and those recipe books. And she's behind the anti-sugar campaign and the sugar tax in Australia. In this one, though, she doesn't actually talk very much about sugar, only mentions it a couple of times. It's actually her memoir / discourse about anxiety, because as Sarah talks about in this book, she's suffered from a lot of anxiety disorders, including general anxiety, OCD, bulimia, and bipolar disorder as well. So in this, she talks about her experiences with it and her take on anxiety and how we approach it as a society and as an individual. One of the things that she proposes, and where the title comes from, is she proposes that anxiety serves a purpose and that it's not necessarily the worst thing and such a terrible mental illness to have, at the same time as acknowledging the incredible suffering that comes along with it. She proposes that anxiety can be helpful for us to realize when we're not going down the right track in our lives or in society as well. And she also talks about ways that she's learnt to manage her illnesses. And one of the things that she suggested was meditation. So I've actually taken up meditation for the past 2 weeks. I've been doing it every morning, and I've found that incredibly helpful. I actually went to the Melbourne book launch for this book, and I got a chance to meet Sarah, and she's an incredible person. And I would highly recommend this book for anyone who has anxiety, because anxiety is an illness that makes you feel really alone. And in this book, she talks about her experiences in a way that makes you feel less alone. And I think for anxiety, that's really important. So the next book I'm going to talk to you about today is a novel, one that is very short. It's called Nothing by John Teller, and she's Dutch, I believe. And it's about a group of Year 7 school children. And on the first day of class, one of the school children stands up and announces that nothing matters and no one matters. So he's not sitting in class. He is going to go and sit in a plum tree, and he goes up this plum tree and doesn't stay down. But what he does do is he throws plums at the school children every day as they pass, as well as nihilist philosophy. And every single day they're pelted with nothing matters, you don't matter, why are you going to school? And the children start to get a very strong sense of unease, and they desperately want to prove him wrong. So they decide to make a pile of meaning. To create that, they get every single child in the class to donate something that means an exceptional amount to them, one by one. So the first child is asked to donate maybe a bike, and then they'll have the opportunity to ask a next classmate of their choice to donate something of value. And as the book progresses, it grows and it festers, and each request is increasingly cruel. It's pretty disturbing, but it's incredible. I highly recommend this book. And I also would ask of you to think about what you would donate to the pile of meaning and what means so much to you. The next book I'm going to talk to you about today is non-fiction. It's Gut by Giulia Enders. I've seen this book around. It was published at the time when we were just starting to get interested in the microbiome and how diverse that is and how it affects our immune system and mental health and all over general health. So this book is a great introduction to that. Coming from a science background, I felt that I wanted more of that scientific language, more of that scientific explanation, maybe some references, because that's what I'm into. But this was a really great survey book, an introduction to the microbiome and how it affects us. Really accessible. It's got little diagrams as well that kind of keep it fun, and it's a really good read. I would highly recommend this, even if you don't have a science background. The last one that I want to talk to you about today is not one that I have with me at the moment, because I returned it to the library because I cannot afford to buy all the books that I read, and that is Trainspotting by Irvine Welsh. And that's talked a lot about at the moment because the second movie has come out. Trainspotting follows a group of heroin addicts or friends of heroin addicts in Edinburgh in Scotland, and it's about their lives and their struggle with addiction and how that affects their relationships and their sense of purpose and sense of identity in the world. It's also written in Scottish dialect, so it's written phonetically in a lot of places with that dialect, which makes it a little bit difficult to get into the book. It's also not written with correct like grammar or anything like that, so it is a bit difficult to pick up. And I think what I really loved about this book was that it showed me a world which I am unfamiliar with, and I will not necessarily get a chance to get an intimate perspective of that world of heroin addiction. It took these characters that you would otherwise think as very calloused and desensitized and really showed their humanity, their humility, their humor. I think that this book really speaks to what it is to read fiction, because reading fiction, you are transported into another person's life, and you do get to experience so many other things than you would just living your one. This book really enhanced my sense of empathy for people who do have those types of addictions. And it's difficult. It took me probably a month and a half to read, which is a very long time to read a book. I have such a soft spot for the characters, which is really special considering how crass they come across as. I would definitely pick it up, especially if you are intending to watch the movie. It could be an interesting companion. That's about all I wanted to talk to you about today. I've read a lot of other books, including more on the microbiome and a couple others, but they didn't stand out enough that I wanted to put them into this like summary video of the last few months that I've read. And hopefully you've picked something up from here, and I will see you next time. Bye.